Hey, hello everyone. Dr. Fryson back to answer a question that someone was kind enough to ask. And I hope everyone is doing well. And I hope that your energy is up, 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 and you are walking the path that is best for your life. All right. So the question is, how can someone spirit find you after they have been gone for a long time, especially when you hadn't seen that individual for 20 plus years? So, this person is talking about how can a spirit that has transitioned, meaning gone to the other side, find you who are still in your physical form when it has been 20 years since the two of you communicated prior to that person departing? And that is a very good question. I'm really thankful to have gotten this question because the answer comes on multiple levels. First, let's talk about the connection that you form with a person in the physical. So we all meet people and we are connecting with them. And so you come into a contact with an energy, right? We are energy. We are like electrons and neutrons and protons. So there's a positive energy and a negative energy. And when they come together, they form like a bond, right? So this is what is happens whenever you come in contact with someone. Sometimes the energies like attract and sometimes the energies repel. And sometimes there's other forces that keep the two energies from truly being together, right? But they will, if they were not around those forces, they would really like gel, right? Um, so this takes me to electrons, neutrons, protons, and valence, and the actual count of an energy. Literally, that whole molecular structure is very similar to the energy that we in our human form possess, right? So that's why sometimes you meet a person and you immediately do not like them. Now, some people can explain this as in a previous reincarnation, you met that particular person and you had a really strong reaction to them that was really good and beneficial for your life. Or you had a previous incarnation where you were with that person and they brought chaos to your life. So when you meet them in this lifetime, you automatically have that, like, oh, this isn't really a good fit for me, right? So let's take that premise and let's take that thinking about when you meet someone early in life. Let's say you meet them in your 20s. The two of you fall in love. And by the way, perfect example of this. I saw a story, and I'm not sure which social media platform it was on, but I saw a story about this woman and this man who met during the war, like World War II, like so many years ago, and they were separated for whatever reason, and they are now in their 80s, and they or 70s or 80s, whichever one, and they reunited and are now a couple after all of those years of having completely separate lives, not even really knowing anything about what was happening with the other person or anything, right? So that kind of energy and connection that they formed in their youth lasted despite other energy forces coming to them, right? And they had other forces that were okay, kind of like past the time, right? I can tell you like this, like sodium, potassium, chloride are electrolytes in your body. Sodium and potassium have what's called a positive charge. Chloride has what's called a negative charge. And so you can put sodium together with chloride and it makes salt. And you can put potassium together with chloride for potassium chloride because a positive charge and a negative charge, etc. But that doesn't mean they form the same thing. The sodium with a positive charge with the chloride does not form the same thing as the potassium that has a positive charge with chloride, right? And really, they don't go together, but I'm just using that as an example. Or just take potassium bromide, which bromide has a negative charge, it's not going to have the same effect as the chloride. So some things can go together, but when they go together, they form different bonds. So this woman and this man obviously have formed a bond that was really, really strong. They had to separate for whatever reason, and then they had other relationships that were smaller bonds, and eventually they got back to that original bond. I believe that in life, we are always trying to reconnect to that strong bond that we had at some point. So in this particular case, that happens even when a person's not in this physical form. You always go back to that highest connection. So that would say that the connection that the departed spirit had with the person who is still in the physical was so strong that they took that energy with them to the next level, right? When they transition. And that could even be despite having had other bonds prior to that, right? They could have been in a relationship, a bond of some nature, but it wasn't nearly as strong, right? And so they reconnected with that person. And it can also be on the other side that the person who is still here has such a connection with that person that has transitioned, and that bond is just there. And most of the time, it's mutual, right? Um, it's when you meet your person, whether or not you are with your person in this lifetime is another story. So, in astrology and tarot readings and things like that, they would talk about this in terms of twin flames and karmic flames and things of that nature. I talk about this in terms of energy because it is an energy that when you come in touch with someone, you exchange energy. First, especially if you engage in the intimacy, right? If you kiss a person, you exchange biological fluids. If you engage in other acts, you exchange fluids, you exchange energy. That's why the intimacy is such an energetic experience, and why it's really not ideal to have that experience with so many different energies. Part of why we have such chaos going on right now, right? So I hope that helps you understand how a person who has transitioned can still be connected to someone who is on this side after so many years. I hope you also understand that sometimes you reconnect with that energy in the next lifetime. In order to understand that, you have to understand that this is not the finite existence for most people. We are energy, and energy continues to move and change and transmute. And that is how some people say when they have transitioned out of this life, they feel like, when, at least when they're going to transition, they feel that they will actually be reconnected with that energy. And oftentimes you're reconnected. It, again, just the outcome of whether you're going to have happily ever after, that's different for each person. Okay. I truly appreciate the question. Thank you so much. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.